Hi, this is Dr. Ivan Misner, founder of BNI with ivanmisner.com. And today I want to talk a little bit about a concept that I think is really important, and that is about being right, but handling it all wrong, but doing it all wrong. So the business that I'm involved in, BNI, involves a lot of coaching and guiding of franchisees and members, teaching them how to guide entrepreneurs and salespeople and professionals to generate referrals for themselves and others. And sometimes this feels a little bit like herding cats. Entrepreneurs hate being told what to do, and it takes a real skill to move them in a direction that involves a lot of hard work, but will help them achieve the results that they want. One of the biggest challenges that I've had in this process is not with the actual entrepreneur or the salesperson, but with the individual that I work with who's guiding the entrepreneur or salesperson. Sometimes this might be a member of a leadership team in a BNI group, or sometimes it might be a director. But these people have gone through many hours of training. They tend to have a fair amount of field experience, and they have support manuals and systems that exceed, in some cases, 1,000 pages of documentation to assist in the process. They are truly experts, most of them truly experts. And I've discovered that sometimes expertise is actually a challenge because, the solution doesn't mean that anyone believes you know the solution or wants you to actually tell them the solution. I know that sounds counterintuitive. However, if you've ever raised a child, you know that this is oftentimes absolutely true. So let's say you're an expert. You're an expert at what you do. You know you're an expert. You know that you can help someone else. You also know that this someone else is a grown-up who runs their own business or is an independent sales rep, and they do that. They're running their business successfully, and they like their freedom and their independence. So how do you move them in the right direction to have them be successful in our case, in the networking efforts that they're doing? So I had a person who worked with my company who once went into one of my groups and was appalled at how badly things are being run by the members of that group. And she let them know in no uncertain terms what they were doing wrong and how they needed to turn it around. The problem was that she was so blunt that she left the place worse than she found it. When we met to talk about it, she might have done and how she might have done things differently, she grew furious with me for not supporting her since she was right and they were wrong. Well, that was true. She was right. The problem was she handled it all wrong. I shared with her one of my favorite sayings in a situation like this. Don't burn down the barn to roast the pig. In other words, don't make things worse than you found them when you're trying to fix them in the first place. She could never really wrap her head around that concept of being right and people not understanding that. She didn't work for me much longer. I let her go. Eventually, we got someone into that group that listened to their issues, built a relationship with the people, and then coached and guided them into greatness, the greatness that they had within them. But that's a process that took time and patience. There are two things I try to teach people in a situation like this. First of all, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you want people to listen to you when you're coaching them or redirecting them, then they have to know that you care about them and that you want them to succeed. If they don't know this down to their core, they'll never listen to your advice, ever. Second is a saying given to me by my mother on a paperweight that I was given when I was probably about 13 years old. I still have the paperweight, and it's been on my desk for decades. The paperweight says, diplomacy is the art of letting someone else have your way. When she gave that to me, she explained that I had to learn how to work with people, not through people. I was a bull in a china shop, and I needed to learn how to work with people effectively. That advice helped me throughout my entire life, and I highly recommend that you consider that as you're working with people. The bottom line is being right doesn't help much if no one is willing to follow you. Love to hear your thoughts on this issue. This is Ivan Misner, founder of BNI. Thanks for watching.